What if a $20 indie game crafted by just 3 people could collapse the digital infrastructure of not one, but several major gaming platforms? Meet Hollow Knight Silksong, the seismic phenomenon that broke the internet, leveled storefronts, and redefined what indie prestige looks like.
What? September 4th! Silksong's real! Guys, we did it!
Moments later.
Steve, please! Steve, please! I've waited all these years! Don't do this to me now!
I can see this is going well.
Hello, Tarnish! And welcome back to another Soulslike video! And today we are going to be talking about the phenomenon that just happened yesterday. Silksong's released. After 7 years in the making, originally slated as a DLC, Silksong evolved into a full sequel. Announced unexpectedly on February 14th, 2019, fans were left hungry, the hype compounded year after year. By August 2025, it stood as the most wish-listed game on Steam. Over 4.8 million eager players had added it to their lists. The original Hollow Knight surged in popularity too, doubling its peak concurrent Steam player count to over 52,000, 8 years after its original release. Thanks to the looming shadow of Silksong, the buzz was so intense that several other indie studios hit pause on their launch calendars, unwilling to compete with this wave. And really, who can blame them? When a game this sought after finally hits the market, it demands attention. But how did we get here? Hollow Knight started as a tiny Kickstarter in 2014, asking for just $35,000, it barely doubled that. But the underdog story of 3 Australians building a hand-drawn bug world hooked early fans. When it launched in 2017, it hit at the perfect moment. Indie Metrovanias were booming, but Hollow Knight felt bigger, darker, and more polished than anything else. Hollowness wasn't just a map, it was a mystery, told with Souls-like design, benches as bonfires, geos as souls, brutal bosses, and cryptic lore. Christopher Larkin's soundtrack gave it emotional weight, while Team Cherry kept dropping huge free expansions, turning a $15 game into hundreds of hours of content. Word of mouth, streamers, and speedrunners did the rest, spreading Hollow Knight like wildfire. By 2020, it wasn't just an indie hit, it was one of the best-selling indie games ever, with a fanbase that treated it like a cultural event. That passion set the stage for Silksong, turning it into one of the most anticipated games of a generation. This massive success of Hollow Knight set the stage for what might be the biggest indie sequel drop of all time. And here's the wildest part. Silksong didn't get here by doing what other game companies do. There were no yearly teasers, no overstuffed trailers, no bloated marketing campaigns. Team Cherry took the opposite route. Absolute and complete and utter radio silence for years. News about the game was scarce. No flashy E3 demos, no endless dev diaries, no occasional crumbs, a screenshot here, a line in an interview there. That scarcity created a vacuum, and the community filled it with theories, fan art, and endless speculation. The less Team Cherry spoke, the louder the fans became. While major publishers flood timelines with pre-orders, collector's editions, and season pass roadmaps, Silksong built demand by letting the absence of information drive obsession. And because the first Hollow Knight had already proven its brilliance, players trusted that the sequel would deliver no matter how long it took to come out. This was the secret sauce: trust, patience, and restraint. Team Cherry let the community do the marketing for them. That's why, when the game finally dropped, the explosion wasn't just hype. It was 6 years of bottled up anticipation detonating all at once. And on September 4th, 2025, at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Silksong dropped, and the digital world trembled. Steam, Nintendo, eShop, PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, all overwhelmed by torrents of enthusiastic gamers. Storefronts crashed, transactions fizzled, and error messages reigned supreme. Down Detector reported a staggering 3,750 incident reports in mere minutes. This wasn't just a technical hiccup, it was a statement of cultural magnitude. But despite the chaos, players' response was explosive. Within 30 minutes, Silksong recorded over 100,000 concurrent players on Steam, and then it soared, quickly surpassing 500,000 concurrent players within just hours. At its peak, Steam saw 562,814 simultaneous players as of the release of this video, making Silksong one of the largest launches in Steam history, 18th of all-time highest. This placed Silksong above beta peaks for games like Battlefield 6 and on par with giants like Elden Ring, and among all 2025 PC game releases, Silksong is already second in peak concurrent players, just behind Monster Hunter Wilds. But now what? Silksong basically has transcended being just another game release. It became a cultural moment, an indie masterpiece that rattled the internet unlike anything seen before. But I think that one of the boldest moves Team Cherry made was refusing to play by industry rules. No pre-orders, no early access, and not even review codes for the press. Game journalists were frustrated. Many complained that they weren't allowed to cover the game early, which is normally how hype gets built before launch. But that was exactly the point. Team Cherry wanted everyone, fans, critics, and newcomers alike, to step into Silksong at the exact same time. And that, to me, is honestly beautiful. It was a radical statement. No gatekeeping, no pay-to-play, early access, no media privilege, just one massive, simultaneous moment where the entire world experienced Silksong together. And that's what made release day feel less like a product launch and more like a once-in-a-generation cultural event. Fans on forum expressed heartfelt devotion, beautifully crafted world, great design, tight controls. Silksong has been a long time coming. In a rare twist, even piracy-focused discussion boards advised supporting the devs instead of pirating, thanks to the $20 price tag and the passion of Team Cherry. It's only been one day, but reviews are already rolling in. Steam has logged an overwhelmingly positive rating with nearly 48,000 user reviews so far. Preview coverage is glowing too. Games Radar calls it worth the wait. An evolved spindly beast all on its own, praising redefined combat and world design. Game Informer mid-review finds it a great deal of fun after a few bosses and needle-slashing sessions. Metacritic user impressions are already describing it as overwhelming in the best possible way, emphasizing the impressive world and exploration. So yes, it's not hyperbole to say Silksong broke the internet, redefined indie launches, and set new benchmarks for passion and community. From its wish list domination, to catalyzing storefront meltdowns, to becoming one of Steam's most played launches in history, it's now part of gaming legend. So, hit that like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you want more pixel-level dissections of moments when games become cultural phenomenons. Comment your launch story. Were you one of the lucky ones who played right away, or were you stuck at something went wrong screen? And if you haven't already, please head on over to my Twitch at Limerianne, where I will be doing Souls-like challenge runs every single Monday from now on. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, Tarnished. Bye, 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 bye.